Hello and welcome to the Tauntaun Squadron YouTube channel. My name is Seth Holocron and I will be your commentator for today's Group C opening game between Ireland and Wales. They have rolled for initiative. Not really going to make that much of a big deal, to be fair, for this, as the two players, Conor Holmes and Paul Westwood, from Ireland and Wales respectively, are now setting up their lists. Asteroids have been placed, and as they're setting up, this is a good time for me to explain how this actually works. So the XTC is the expanded thing from the European team tournaments. This is now the X-Wing team tournament. It's global. We have people from North and South America, Oceania, a whole ton of people from Europe, and people from the Philippines and China and all this sort of stuff. It's going to be fantastic. So while they're setting up, we will go through the list. So on the left-hand side of your screen, we have Mr. Paul Westwood, who is flying Galactic Empire. He has got Commandant Goran up. He has got Disciplined and an upgrade. In fact, all of his strikers all have Disciplined, so that's where you can get a free lot or a barrel roll with Disciplined. And then the four strikers, all at Initiative 3, have thermal detonators. So this is a good list, to be fair. Disciplined will be kind of handy, and I would assume that Paul will try and bait Conor into coming along, K-turn, drop thermals and run. He's also got Commandant Goran, who is an amazing new addition to the Galactic Empire. Pretty much as if any of his ships within range 0 to 3 partially execute a maneuver, they can get a red focus token. So all good for offense and defense. On the other side, representing Team Ireland, we have one of our best players, Conor Holmes, who is flying First Order, and he has decided to go for a 6-tie Epsilon Squadron Cadet with Commander Malarus, who has got Pattern Analyzer on him. So I would assume, like most Malarus swarms, and going at I1, he will have all his defensive 3 green evade dice, and then take a strain as long as Malarus is in range of the entire squad to give them all a reroll each. Both these lists, I would assume, would either like to drop a lot of thermals and do a lot of damage, or a whole load of focus fire from Conor to try and take off ships. The ship count could be kind of important in this match, and at the minute it's 5 versus 7, and it's the strikers only have 4 hull, and if you include the shield on the Epsilons, they have 4 hull as well. Conor has an 8 hull advantage before you even get to the fact that Malarus has got 2 more actual hull and 1 more shield, so a lot of really good stuff to go. So it looks like Paul has now set up. We're looking kind of good here. Malarus, Conor trying to decide where he wants his main boy to go. And that's facing into the swarm. So I will tell them that they're ready and we can start the clock. We will not start the clock until everybody's dials are set. That's been a thing in most tournaments online, and I think that's a very good decision. So we will keep that up. So we'll just see if everybody's got everything done. Looks like Paul has got them done. Looks like everybody is looking pretty good. We can do that. And they can set everything whenever they are ready to go. As soon as they hit that, I will put the clock on the thing to go. And we are ready to play Star Wars X-Wing 2.0 in the XTC 2021. A fantastic thing to be able to do. We can't do it in real life like the last ETC, So if everyone is ready, you guys can go. Okay, clock gone. Let's go. So, opening engagements. I'm going to try and just explain what the players will probably be doing early doors. So the Epsilons all went a one hard to the left, and I would imagine that the strikers will probably do something like their aileron move. He's going to bump with the back two for red and yellow by the looks of things. Because remember, with Gant's fantastic ability, any partial will give you a stressed focus. So at this stage, absolutely no problem at all for either player. So as you can see, the yellow one there has got a focus evade. And there's another focus evade. So nice to be able to get things double modded in a game of X-Wing. That sounds pretty good to me. There's a double evade. And I'm delighted to see that Conor, just to keep himself right, will use what you can see just him picking up, putting onto the ships. Those are maneuver cards. Completely legal. You can ask in a real life game to see your opponent's dial. And that's what he's done. But he's actually got those to be able to put onto the ships, which is pretty good. So, welcome to the people who are here in chat. I hope you enjoy the game. It's the first game for both these countries in the XTC. So, early doors, there'll be a lot of bumping. I assume an awful lot of bumping will come from Goran and his squad of strikers, which is fine. And we have our first member going, come on, Paul. So, yes, good luck to Wales. Good luck to Paul. I have been looking at a lot of the background stats. So, let's give you a background sort of stat fact. We were looking at just how good these players are, and they both have fantastic win rates. They're both in big competitions. They have over 60% each of a win rate, which is very good indeed. So back to dials to see where we're going to go on there. Hello, Carlos. I hope the weather is as beautiful in Colombia as it is over here. 20 degrees, sat in a pair of shorts, which doesn't happen in Ireland very often, but there we go. We take full advantage of what is happening. And the fact that we can actually get sunshine in Ireland is bizarre. So there are people over here melting. I agree, Matt. Paul's squad is very interesting. I love the discipline across them all. I think that's fantastic. So we will just have to wait and see where we get on. I would really quite like to get that out of the way, but it's not letting me. So there we go. That's better. So, Will Chat, tell me if the 7/5 squad list is actually going to be better because of the amount of hull that Paul will need to get through. That's the main thing, and there's a fantastic move forward. Yeah, just double checking where he is. That's absolutely fine so far. So the entire squad bump forward. It's evades all round from Mr. Holmes. Here are the aileron strikers going a wee one forward and then a two forward with each one. No engagement this time. They're kind of just sneaking up the bottom edge of the board. which makes a lot of sense, really. And a 2 forward, and then an aileron 1, and a 2 forward with reds to keep the formation going. I'm loving the fact that these guys have been paired into each other. Swarm play in version 1 was fantastic. Not quite as prevalent as it is in version 2, but that does not mean to say that they are not good lists, because they are. We boosty there from Goran, which is excellent, and a little range there from Malarus, who takes a focus. So there we go. Absolutely nothing to do whatsoever apart from to go back to dials and see how they get on in the next bit. So, tentative start. Will we see a bank in from Paul? Maybe a one bank and a 2 forward with all the ships here. That would probably be a decent thing. So a 1 bank to the left with all the strikers, and then maybe a 1 or 2 forward with those, and following up with Goran. That to me sounds like a very, very good idea indeed. Problem is Malarus slightly too far away to get all his ships in? We shall have to wait and see what the players decide is their best way of moving forward. So, dials currently, as you can see on the right hand side of the screen, still being set by Mr. Holmes, who loves playing FO aces. I've seen him play a lot online with Kylo, Hollow, and Von Reg. Very good aces player. So for him to pick this, he genuinely must believe that this gives him a better chance overall of victory in the 1 hour and 15 minutes that this game probably won't go on for. I can see utter destruction and both players choosing violence quite quick because of there is a bank in from Paul. I would assume that there's going to be some level of bank in and a rather large forward maneuver from Malarus coming up. Looks like Conor is set. Paul taking his time, but this is one of the biggest tournaments online in the world in 2021, and do we all need it after the global pandemic? Of course we do. There's nothing better than playing with your friends and maybe having a beverage of whatever description that you like to drink. But plastic spaceships and pew-pews are just fantastic. So I genuinely hope you can sit back, enjoy the weather, and watch 2 world-class X-Wing players fight it to the death. So 67 minutes left. No shots. Nice and tentative. They're both taking their time. That I can appreciate a great deal. Looks like we are all set now. So I hope you guys like the team flags that we have done here. We've got the Team Ireland one and the Welsh national flag set up there as well, so that they knew where to put their ships. And here we go with the swarm. So 2 banks in from the Epsilon. 2 die attacks with Malarus's rerolls if he gets them all in. Sometimes, as we all know, things can happen that you don't get them all, but that's perfect precision flying from Conor, which then, as they all taken focuses as their action, we're about to see why Goran is so good in a striker list. So take a stress. He won't put it down because he then will do the blue maneuver, and as predicted, this is probably what we're going to get. I would assume that yellow will then go next and do exactly the same maneuver. Instead goes for green, which makes equally as much sense when you're flying swarm. Absolutely nothing wrong with that at all. Partially executed, so that does what it needs to do. So it gets a focus and will be going straight through, because that was his Elron and not his real maneuver. That's a partially executed maneuver. He will then get a focus and then do his Elron afterwards. I would assume he will go left, as he certainly does, and gets double modded. That's pretty nice. And then blue should bump into yellow with his one forward. Will get his double mods up, as I would assume that he is going to go. So there's his focus and his actual maneuver. So that is the strikers have been moved. Everybody at the bottom of the screen for the Galactic Empire, evade and focus. A lovely bank in there that doesn't bump from Goran. Takes a focus. So we are looking at a vast majority of pews about to come in here, which is looking good. Conor just checking what he wants to do with his squad. He's thinking turns ahead from what he's doing there. Very good player. Part of Team Tauntaun. The Tauntaun Squadron here, based in Lisburn in Northern Ireland. And a very good bunch of players they are indeed. I'm very lucky to be a member of them. So he's getting 4 rerolls. And manages to give the evade to Cyan to give Malarus, who has initiative, but no shot. So Goran, I will now assume, will shoot. And has 2, both at range 3. So 4 dice for Conor and 3 for Goran. So 2 blanks. 2 eyes, my apologies. Spends the focus token. Decision for Conor. 2 eyes and an evade. There's 2 damage coming in. And then we're going to go to the strikers. So yellow, I assume, is keeping his focus, but has lost a shield. So that's a hit crit in there, and there's an eyeball. So I would assume something will have to be done here in order to try and keep one of these alive. Spends that, takes the critical, and the critical is damaged engine. So let's add that to this. Down to 2, so half points. There we go. Just the 1 hit. Dice again for Conor. And gets the evade just at the bottom of the screen. Does very well indeed. Now that is going to be transformed over there for 3 more hits. And that is only 1 evade. And very sadly, yellow has been taken off the board. So first blood 2. Mr. Westwood. Wales now lead by 25 points. Now into red. 2 eyeballs. He has a focus. Spends the focus for 2 hits. 4 dice back for Conor. And nearly natty's out. No damage taken whatsoever. So now there are return shots. Not 5, but there are there. Malarus rerolls on everything apart from red. Gets to reroll that to take a strain. It's 1 hit. should be okay here. But, well, he would have to spend his evade. And does. Second one, rerolls the blank, already has a focus, spends the focus, one hit. And one evade. So all good. Remember, all of these ties firing at the minute to get a free reroll from the Malarus ability. 2 hits. That's a bit better for Conor. And I would believe that that is an evade and an eye. What's going to happen now? Is he taking the damage onto green? I believe that he is. 2 more hits into green. And there's 2 evades. So regardless of what the third dice was, that's where we're at. Final one, no Malarus reroll with red here. And Natty's 2 proper hits. That's 2 eyes. So green is down to 2 after all that. So I lost Epsilon and 2 damage into green. And the score 25-19. Just under an hour still to go. So who won that engagement? Well, losing a 2-die gun in a swarm, not too bad at the start. The good thing is, I would imagine this turn that blue maneuvers to relieve that strain from all the epsilons is exactly what Conor Holmes will be wanting to do. So hello Yoshi, good that you're here. Thank you for watching the Tauntaun stream. I hope you're enjoying it. Sweet donuts. Feels like Wales won the pairing for this match, but I like Conor's approach more. Paul's going to be splitting fire here and might not kill anything in the first pass. Well, he did, so that's pretty good. And if I was Welsh, I'd be kind of delighted that First Blood went straight away and that he wasn't taking 6 shots back. Problem is, which one of these lists are best after initial engagement? Because in my opinion, range 3 sort of shots at the start are good. Range 1s are far better for Conor with rerolls than just being double modded, in my opinion. So I reckon the second term of engagement will go towards Conor, but then he does not want to be behind them as they all have thermal detonators. And with the ships faced at 45 degrees to each other, he could have a large plethora of maybe up to and including 8 thermals the round after this to try and catch an errant first order TIE fire. So a lot of thinking, I would assume, is going to go on to this. I can guarantee, as both players and all players in the XTC of 2021 know the lists that they were. That's why their team captains paired them up. You can watch the Welsh pairing against Ireland on this stream afterwards. Kind of skipped about 15 minutes and it'll actually come off for you. But seeing as they knew what upgrades they had, what pilots that they had, both captains then put up their things up and we got our 7 faction pairings. And Gary, the team captain of Team Ireland, genuinely believed that this was a good list to kind of hold back for because of the Malarus ability. And it's very probable that Stephen, the team captain for Wales, thought that this list of the Galactic Empire would be good into most other lists. So we can only hope that they continue some violence, and that would be great. So things are being set up. In come a lot. I firmly believe that that is outright massive violence. So 4 of the 5 moving forward. Remember, the aileron move has to happen first. So if he's done anything here, after his aileron move to get him out of there. And there we go. So there's green and, well, green has no shot. But he is set up, Conor has set up quite wide here from his initial position to try and take as many strikers as he can. If the blue then turns round, and he will bump into red, no shot, but as a range one into green. Same with his green into the lime green of Conor's tie. And they have the initiative. Red has disappeared, so there immediately is setting up at least one or two thermal detonators, depending on where yellow ends up. If yellow follows red, okay, that's interesting. That's interesting. So more guns on target than bombs so far. There's the yellow aileron move. So scroll in a wee bit here. And that's looking dangerous for the yellow striker. Takes the evade. The red striker not getting shot at all by anything. Goran comes up to flank yellow. Takes his focus. Now we need to get something good. Now where he is now will probably get rerolls for every single one of his ships. So Goran is going to fire his 2-die attack. He gets his reroll because it also affects himself. Spends the focus. Range 2. I can't see what that is. That's an evade. So green takes another damage, I would assume. Let's see what's happening here. Because we have 2 hits, 1 evade, 1 eyeball, and he did a roll. So, yep, there we go. Thank you very much for that. So green now down to just 1 hull left. Problem is, now it's Goran. So, target priorities. Where are we going? Let's have a little look and see what we've got. So the good thing here is that because they go I1, it's always 3 dice evade. And that, if he spends the focus, is 3 hits. That's pretty good. Not sure who we're firing into. Possibly cyan or maybe orange. If it's range 1, he gets another one. So that is 3 dice. That is 2 hits on the cyan. So half points right there. And there's a hit crit. And cyan is going to explode. Well, that's keeping up the can you take a ship off the board each time. And seems to be doing that quite well. So Goran has fired, yellow has fired. Blue will probably go into green at range 1 for 4 dice. As he's bumped into red. But green does have a focus. Oh, that's hot fire. Hit, double crit. We need to see squiggles from Conor. Oh, no. Oh, no. So, can save 1. Takes the shield. He's got a console fire and a fuel leak on green. And then green to possibly just ruin everything. So 4 die unmodified. Green in the lime. Oh, there's dice flying all around the screen. And again, hit, crit. And green, very sadly, has evaporated into space. Oh dear. Now that is not a good thing for the green pilot. That's pretty bad. That is pretty bad. Let me move up the ones who have all died. I'm trying to keep some level of stuff. Now here we go. There's a couple of obstructed shots here from the one that did a K turn, which is the red striker. 3 die, probably into orange. That's pretty good. That's hit crit. 4 die here. And evaded. So well done. That one. So lime goes away. Light blue cyan goes away. This is been pretty good so far. So I believe this is a range 1 shot with the reroll. You can just spend that. So not using that to kill that off. Green now dead. So we shall kill off that poor guy. Move him down. Down, down, not up. There we go. So that's it. That's something for Conor. But he's now down to just 3 ties. So not too sure if yellow has got any. He's got a focus. So that's, will he just shoot at blue, who has nothing, as he bumped? Let's see where we're at here. So the discipline triggers go first. Yellow has moved out of the way, will not be taking any fire whatsoever. Blue can't do that because he is now stressed, which precludes him from any action. So I'm liking the way that they're actually keeping the dead ships on the board until the end of the round, which is what we're actually meant to do. So a little bit of discussion between the two players, I can tell you that. I assume it was red that fired into green, so orange and pink are going on. There's still triggers to go, so Mr. Westwood taking his time here to decide what's best. If Goran's going to get a target lock, surely into Malarus would be kind of good. Or a barrel roll appears to be the option of choice, so has moved that altogether. The red and the blue cannot do anything, so here we go. 2 die with a reroll. Now, this is confusing me. So, and if this is orange and he's got the eye, why can't he then reroll through Malarus? That's very strange. Confused.com at the minute, but I still think they're discussing something out here. So he's rolled, Paul showing that he rolled blank evade, and we are now on to another shot. So Conor really does need a really big hit here. Only gets the crit. 2 die back here. So it's a crit. Oh, no, he's got the focus. Okay. So definitely Engagement 2 won by the Galactic Empire, without doubt. So as you can see from being on screen here, 45 minutes to go. They have been playing quite well, both of them. Paul has scored 75 points. Conor has scored 37. So 39 points for Conor to take the lead. Just looking through here, the red, yellow, and blue Black Squadron Scouts are completely fine. Goran is completely fine. Now, the only good thing for Conor at this stage is that he still has 3 healthy Epsilon cadets, which is kind of handy, and nothing on Malarus, which is pretty good as we go into the last 3/4 of an hour of this game. So Christopher Benson is cheering against Cormac, so go Wales. Okay, that's an oof. Yeah, so I would assume something's going to have to happen here somewhere. Let's just see what actually goes on. So we are back to dials. Conor has set all of his. So if we look at the board state, yellow, the yellow striker is in a bit of an issue. Goran's okay, red's okay, blue is okay. But Conor needs guns on target, like a good swarm player requires. So I would now expect as many die onto Malarus as is humanly possible. The fact that the FO fighters need to go first, which is normally a really good thing because you're guaranteed actions, may not be that good because of the position of the blue strider. So I can't see any 4Ks, but the Epsilons do have 2 sloops. So, orange could do a 2 sloop to the right, and so could the pink, which will allow the red to maybe block blue or try to get a shot onto yellow. And if Malarus keeps them all in line, that's absolutely fine. Problem is that because of the re-rolls, they're strained. So now just down to 2 unless they do a blue maneuver. What have they decided? I'm afraid I can't tell you what the dials are. We're just going to have to wait and see. I love Cormac, but we need some beef when playing for our national teams. Well, beef is a pretty solid thing. If you look through the entire 38 teams, there's an awful lot of beef lists. There's Resistance beef and Rebel beef and Empire beef and First Order beef. There's a lot of really good sort of stuff, including the CIS swarm. So there's a whole load of stuff. Hello, Tundrian Bee Soldier. Welcome to the stream. Hope you're enjoying this game 1 of the Group C match between Ireland and Wales. Wales currently leading in this game. And let's see where we all end up. So there are the sloops, 1 each way. Very good choice indeed. Red has moved forward and removed their stuff, which is excellent. The bump there from the aileron, will he stay there or will he go? He gets his focus. And let's see where the rest of them end up. A 1 forward onto the debris from the aileron. So debris, if you don't know what that is, there's a 1 in 8 chance. There's only 1 crit on the die. If you get a crit, you take the crit. No fear whatsoever. Goes in there, does take the stress. Done, and is hoping that Malarus may have stayed still, as Malarus has got that maneuver on his dial. There we go. There's a bump. So if Malarus is moving forward or even stays still, yellow is not attacking him. Red is probably the most interesting one to me, because a bank 1 from the red striker to then go over that debris, or even a 1 forward aileron and then a bank in, I think makes perfect sense. Let's see where red is going. So there's his aileron. Removes his stress. He gets his eye, and then I'll be banking in. No, because he's stressed, and that's why he has to stay there. Goran, however, then bumps, completely tokenless. Okay, so right now we are looking at 2 shots, either into TIE fighters or not. Malarus here, 3 into 2 with a focus. That's thank you, boys, for putting it down there so I can see things very clearly. Hit crit from Conor. Reroll with Malarus's ability. Hasn't had much luck with that so far. 2 die back. That's a absolute nothing. That's an absolute nothing. So there's the XTC damage decks made just for this tournament, and it is structural damage. Wow, okay. That's interesting on the blue. So there to there, and structural damage. However, now the entire list of Paul gets to shoot. No shot for yellow. Target priority here going to be very important. Red, if it was a shoot into Malarus, will definitely be obstructed. Goran has absolutely no offense or defensive tokens whatsoever. Blue's probably the best one to take a range. That's possibly a range 1 shot into Malarus. And good to see that he's actually thinking about where he goes. But the first shot, to be fair, is from Goran. So let's see what he's up with. He will have a choice of 2 targets. He will be able to shoot red or Malarus. So 3v1. Unmodded, so just as it hits the board, 1 hit. Can Malarus save himself? He can't. And loses 1 of his shields. Aye, this could be interesting. Lots of different choices. Obviously, who are we going for here? If he's going for a TIE fighter, I assume as Conor has pulled out 3 dice. See where we're thinking 3 shots, definitely. So offensively, really good, the striker. Spends the focus. Yep, so 3 hits into his target. 2 damage. So Malarus in a bit of trouble. But no crit, which is pretty good. But down to 4. 4 die, range 1 attack. Spends the focus. Will he spend the focus? To be fair, I would try and get as much done here as possible. Malarus has already got that, so the 2 hits cancelled by the 2 evades, and now we're left with decisions. So it's range 1 into blue. 3 into 2 with the reroll. That's hit crit. Reroll. Hit crit. 1 evade. And blue is dead. Yeah, blue has departed space altogether. Thank you very much for playing, but is now out of the competition. So that was 1 of the shots. So still red and orange, I believe, still to play and fire. The discipline trigger will go on to everything right now. So barrel roll or a target lock. The target lock, I assume, will go on to Malarus. I would assume, but then there's a lot of points around and hard to know. Hard to even know if the target lock is worth it. Red can't barrel roll anyway. Goran can. So Goran is going to bank in a wee touch. Take that barrel roll to the right. I would assume that the yellow striker will probably also do a barrel roll to the left. And that's the way to get out of that shot. And then, because of the stress on yellow, probably nothing. So off goes blue. Range 3. Off we go. So 1 hit. Nothing. So yellow takes a damage. Range 2 with a reroll if required. Reroll incoming. Hit crits. 2 die to evade. Gets nothing. So that's half points on yellow. A direct hit kills. It's a loose stabilizer. And that has tightened this game up a lot. So, Paul, 75 points. Conor now leads by 93, simply on the basis of the how much more the Black Squadron Scouts actually cost. Hello, Mr. World Champion, Ollie Pocknell. Glad that you're here. Yes, the sloops were quite good. I quite like that. It's not that, Sweet Donuts. It's more the fact that I didn't want the game to be one-sided, and the fact that Conor being a very good player, I'm very glad that it's not just me supporting Team Ireland as being part of them. It's just good TV. So that's why that's why I'm getting a little bit excited about how it is. So there's only 1 hole left on yellow. The other 2, the red striker and Goran, completely untouched. We are looking quite well here. The loose stabilizer, will that cause much issue? Probably not. Probably not. The fact that the Epsilons managed to get out of that without taking any damage whatsoever is fantastic. And I am glad that you're enjoying it. It is all good, and this is what should happen in this game. So where we are right now, Conor has set all his dials. The yellow may drop a thermal detonator. We haven't actually seen any bombs from the strikers, and with only 1 hull left, surely would probably drop 2 to see where these Epsilon cadets are going to go, on the off chance that it takes a shield off either. There is the first one. Is he dropping a second? This is the whole good thing to ask. So red clears the stress by doing a 3 forward, but bumps. Orange is going to go next. Chases that. I'm afraid lands on the debris. Takes absolutely no damage for that apart from the stress, but will take all of that. There's a focus for pink. Or are we going for a barrel roll? That's excellent. I like that a lot. That's a great move. So remember, the strikers have to do their aileron if they're not stressed. So that's pretty much going to be that move for the yellow striker. And then I would assume that red will then go next. Will he try and bank round to the right? So the one bank aileron bumps into Goran. Because of Goran's ability, he gets that and then moves in for a range one shot onto pink. Nicely flown indeed. So out of arc of orange, but still in range of pink. Double mods up for focus evade. And then let's see where Goran ends up. He just bumps. So 2 of his 3 guns into Malarus. And Malarus flies in, bumps the back of the Epsilon. And this catches 3. So the first TIE fighter in red escapes. The second TIE fighter, the one that's stressed, takes a damage and loses a shield. And another damage on to Malarus. So that's becoming a bit of a problem. Malarus now needs to do something huge here. He really does need to do something really, really big. And orange has lost its shield, I believe. Isn't that correct? Yes, it is. So let me update that overlay. Shield lost. Okay, Malarus fires. Gets hit. Crit. Spend the evade. Evade, no damage. So, Goran range 1. 4 dice into 2. I expect Malarus to be slightly, well, space dust. I expect Malarus to turn into here. But, oh no, what an awful roll. Oh, TTS dice. What are you doing? An entire wasted shot. See, he can keep the 4 dice there. Personally, I would throw them in the void. But he's going to keep doing it, so well done you. As he decides what's the best shot. Well, is the best shot into that tokenless TIE fighter? Who knows? Whatever it is 2 blanks, 2 hits. 1 more damage onto Malarus, which means as yellow can't fire, Malarus survives an extra round. Wow. But Paul now leads by 7. Reroll here. It's hit, eyeball. Into 2 blanks. So red goes to half. I will update this when we get it. There's another reroll. He's got 1 hit. It is only 1 hit. 2 dice back here from Paul. It is 1 hit into yellow, and that was enough. So yellow is now dead as well. That's what a great game this has become. What a great game this has become. So red has taken half as well. So he's down to 2. So as you can see, half on the red-black Squadron Scout. Goran still completely untouched. But the score, with 25 minutes to go, with 2 hull on Malarus, red full, epsilon full, orange with a lost shield. The score at the minute, Conor on 130, Paul Westwood 100. So Paul obviously then needs 31 points in this last 25 minutes, which is a long time in a game of X-Wing, to do something really good with it. Just looking through the chat, if Malarus dies before Conor gets to shoot yellow, that's big. Sadly, that didn't happen. So that is how it is. Not sure a good game, well played just yet, but Goran versus the world could be excellent. Could be excellent. Tundran, he is a lucky FO fighter. Yep, and it's not just the luck of the Irish. That's just TTS bad rolling, to be honest. So I'm going to assume that thermals, as Ollie has quite rightly pointed out, need to be a big thing right now. They have to be a big thing. So now we've got 4 versus 2. A rather substantial thing. It's only 2 damage to take off the final red striker. Now, the red striker at this minute in time in the system phase probably can't drop his thermal, or he is going to put it onto Goran, which is not what he wants to do. So it will be interesting to see where everybody ends up. The orange FO is stressed. The pink one's still got a strain, and the red FO has still got a strain from the Malarus reroll. So we'll just have to see where they all end up at the end of the movement phase. So Paul doing the thing that I love people doing when they play online is tidying up their dead card damage decks. I think that's a nice thing to do. Let's that move out so you can sort of see a wee bit better. There we go, all good. So with two dials, I assume Paul is set, and he is. Conor just checking all of his. That's a very good bit of advice. If you're quite new to the game, playing it on TTS, if you just hover your hand over the bit where it says set, it will bring up what maneuver that you've put in. So red is definitely set. Goran is set. We are pretty much good to go here. He is going to drop his thermal. Okay. So that's one. Will he drop the second as well? To be fair, why would you not? So you pay a lot of points. 12 points of his list went on thermal detonators. So try and get as much out of them as I can. A nice little sloop there from red. Orange just went over that. Oh no, and takes a crit and goes to half. Structural damage. Oh my lordy. I don't even know if he can barrel roll away from both of these. Oh dear me. Orange, orange, orange. Structural damage, half points. Paul only needs 18 to take the lead here. And those thermal detonators looking better and better by the second. Nice reverse there by the red one, getting himself out of everybody's arc. So red is completely safe at the minute. Goran vanishes. He gets well away from those 2 horrendous thermal detonators that are about to probably go off right into Malarus's face. Where does Malarus go? Great questions. Sadly, the first question that needs answered is, what action is Goran taking? Certainly taking his time over what he wants to do. He may have a shot on the red. He may want a barrel roll. You know, it's a big decision. He could take an evade. He could barrel roll. He could boost. He could do whatever he wants to do. But this is quite a big decision. He's going to the dial. And there's the barrel roll. Man chooses violence. He's got the initiative to be able to hurt red. This minute in time is, at this minute, completely untouched. Barrel roll boost for the stress. Range 1, 4 versus 3. Love that maneuver. Well thought out. I like that a great deal. Malarus has disappeared over there. Will be in both ranges of those thermals. Look at what we've got. So Pink and Malarus are taking both thermals. If Malarus takes both, it's going to be a huge swing in this game. So he takes his action. And he's just going to go for it. So they both take 2 red dice each. He is going to go for Malarus first. He will roll them one at a time. The first one means he survives. The second one means he stays on just those. That's unbelievable. Now, will he get any damage on that one? That's a blank. 3 out of 4 with no damage. Eventually takes 1 damage and the shield onto Pink. So they will then remove the thermals and go to the Goran range 1 attack because Malarus has no shot. In fact, it's going to be a 4 versus 2 shot. Unmodded. Who needs mods? 3 hits and a crit. So hit crit going through on the red, and that is weapons failure on red. What a great game this has turned out to be. So, rolling less attack dice, always good for your opponent. 1 crit, 2 evades. One crit again, into 3 at distance. There's all the evades. Everything done. So back to dials. It is still GG, well played. This is what we're talking about. This is what we're talking about. So by my reckoning, half on red, do no damage to Malarus at all. The damage, 1 damage onto Pink, and the half on the Epsilon. Conor, with only 16 minutes to go, leads by 4. It's 130 to 126. Ireland up, but only ever so slightly up. And we are back to dials again. I agree, Chris. That does balance out the crit on the debris. So where the chat do we reckon people are going to end up? Because with, just double checking my, so it's 15 and a half minutes to go. And these two guys, I hope you appreciate, have flown their lists pretty well, to be fair. So back to dials. And we'll see where these beautiful rendered plastic spaceships actually end up. Remember, 2 hull left. The red striker already halved. So to get the points, needs to die. And Goran on absolutely nothing here. Goran and red and orange are all stressed. And a strain onto the ever lovely Malarus. So still 4 ships versus 2, but it won't take too much with the firepower of the strikers to take an FO Epsilon out before return fire. Malarus is not in the best position in the middle of the board here to be able to do extra things. Conor whizzing through here. Nice little bank one. And the barrel roll. Is that to try and stop the aileron maneuver as red would have come in? That's interesting. Well, he still has 3 hull left on the pink one. Goran relieves his stress by that hard turn to the left. Again, would only require 2 damage to put the orange out of the game. Takes a focus. That's just sensible. And then barrel rolls to take absolutely no shots. Really good flying there from Mr. Westwood. Those ships, well too good. So a range 2 shot here from Malarus. Gets his reroll. Takes it, spends it. 3 dice back. So 2 hits into 3 greens. He's going to have to spend that or take a damage. So the focus is out. So nothing for his return shot. So completely unmodded. And the points is firing at Malarus. So he goes for a 4 die attack into the Epsilon or a 3 die attack into a depleted Malarus with 1 die, 3v1 or 4v3. He's thinking about this. Structural damage. It's got structural damage, the orange one. Let's see. Who's he picking? I can't actually hear who they've decided. 2 hits. 1 evade. Well played, orange. So range 1 into pink, 4 die here with a focus. And that's pink pretty much dead. If he spends his focus, which he does. So 3 hits and a crit. Would need everything here, and pink has now very sadly left where we are. That's very, very, very bad indeed. That's very unfortunate for Conor. So he's now dead. Paul leads by 9. Pink gone. No other shots here. Both of these are now halved. And then it appears we're back to dial. So a very, very, very good round there for Wales. Very good indeed. Leads by 9, 139 to 130. And just under 10 minutes to go. So more violence expected. Remember, there's still 2 charges left on that red striker. So, maybe drop 1. See, I would expect Conor to do a sloop to avoid all of that, to be fair. So, as many guns onto Goran as humanly possible in this round would be excellent, but Goran will move first. I expect a block maybe here from Goran to deny a shot from Malarus. But who knows? It's been a fantastic game of X-Wing and a really, really, really good game to start Group C's Ireland and Welsh campaign. So there we go. There's the 2 sloop. There's the 2 sloop here as well. There was no system phase, so no thermals being dropped by red. That is Conor Holmes's thing. So it is now the red striker. I don't quite know why there is a red dice coming out. You have missed your okay. There was me thinking that was in the system phase, but maybe I'm completely and utterly wrong. So his aileron, this action maneuver, a 1N, and Malarus looking in a bad state of affairs. Will Goran go in and try and get the block? He has done exactly what he needed to do. So red will be obstructed. Personally speaking, I would probably keep him there and take an evade. Or he can just barrel roll him to the left, get him out of arc. He may be able to boost round to the right, but whether that gets him out of arc is a totally different thing altogether. The barrel roll to the left, down towards the bottom of the screen, is the maneuver to take if he doesn't want Goran. If Malarus has hit the 0 button and hit full reverse and slammed the brakes on, then he's in a dangerous sort of spot. And will he take the gamble of staying there or not? He's definitely taking his time to decide what's the best thing to do, which he's more than entitled to do as well. He also has a range 1 shot from the red striker. He takes a token. Okay. He will then probably stress himself and barrel roll left, which he does indeed, for 2 range 1 shots into Malarus. Now, Malarus has hit the button. Oh dear. So just double checking he has any targets. He doesn't. Even a 1 bank away would have got him out of all of that. He is still now depleted. Red takes another damage because of the thermal, which puts him down to just 1. He also has weapons failure on him as well, but that has now been removed, so we can get rid of that. Nope, wrong one. Well, that's the end of Malarus, I'm afraid, and that may be GG. Well played. He's now leading by 34 points. The extra 20 is not going to do anything. Goran would give him 52 if he can kill off Goran. then Conor has got a chance of winning the game. The problem is, at this precise minute in time, well, there's two, and that is orange dead. And that is GG, well played. Take your shot downtown. You never know. 2 hits. Ball rolls. Has a focus. Spends that. Takes no damage. So there we go. I am sad to say, I think a 1-hull Epsilon not going to do quite enough against what's left out here. It's 1 hull versus 6. 1 ship versus 2. Yeah, this is going to be a brilliant win for Mr. Westwood. So there we go. That's what's left. 2 hull on black. Goran completely untouched, and 1 hull left on the Epsilon. The Galactic Empire and Wales lead by 46, 176 to 130. And didn't that game just change on a... There we go. You guys are not wrong at all. A little missed opportunity from both of them here. And that's pretty much what it is, you know? There are 2 great players flying 2 decent lists, and it has turned out to be a really good game. And early doors went to Paul, doing nothing wrong, took a ship off in the first 2 turns of engagement. Conor brought it back, was leading by quite a lot in the mid part of the game, but losing half on an awful lot of the ships to then lose the actual ships and lose 2 more in the previous round has probably ended the game as a contest. But it has been such a good game. Just a couple of minutes to go here. Not long left at all. And I'd like to thank every single one of you for staying and watching Ireland versus Wales, the first pairing of these 2 countries in Group C at the XTC 2021. So it has been really, really well flown by both pilots. So I don't think anybody's got a real concern about this. There are still 6 other games for the countries to go. So let's see what we're happening in here. That's 3 hits. That is only 1 evade. And that is Goodnight Irene. And that is game 2 Wales. Congratulations to Mr. Westwood, who has ended the game just at the end there and wins. So that's pretty good. 200 to 130 in favour of Wales in game 1 of Group C between these 2 fantastic countries. I genuinely hope you really enjoyed that game as much as I enjoyed commentating it, because it's one of those things that my heart wants Ireland to win, but if we're going to lose, losing to Wales isn't that bad. Not really in the big scale of things. There are worse things that can happen. So I enjoyed that a great deal. So there we go. Wales currently lead Ireland 1-0 in the best of 7. God, I'm starting to sound like an NHL commentator. Thank you so much for joining us here at the Tauntaun Squadron. I'm going to try and be showing every single Irish game this round. We have got Rich Polly on Friday. We also have got Jonathan Beats, his game on the same day. It's 6 o'clock UK and 8 o'clock UK. So it's going to be an interesting time. So, Ollie, stop. I am not a great commentary person at all. I have no Guinness in my hand. That would make it a lot more fun. But I thought for the first one. We'll just be kind of cool and groovy. So congratulations to Paul and Wales on their first win at the XTC. Commiserations to Conor Holmes. He'll get better. He will get better. Thank you so much for watching. My name is Seth Holocron. Hit the like button, please. Subscribe and every single thing for all the Irish and Welsh things in round 1 in Group C will be streamed on this Tauntaun channel. Thank you so much for being here. Take it easy. Thank you and good night.